If you're looking for an apartment in New York City, you've probably seen the co-op and the condo word out there, but do you know the difference? Choosing the right one could affect your financing, flexibility, and the day-to-day life in the building. Rummy here with your real estate experts. We're gonna dive deep into the difference between co-op and condo so you get a good idea. We're gonna put the real in real estate. So let's get into it. From the outside of everything, you'll probably see that the view is great, the units are almost the same, the building and the neighborhood are great too as well, or identical. Behind the scene, the ownership and approval process is completely different, and the way the buyers are tripped up. So a condo, you own the unit as a real property, just like owning a single family house, plus shares of the common area. A deed, you will own the deed to the property, but you will pay the taxes individually. Now financing, after financing is pretty easy to get for a condo. And even if you're doing an FHA, a lot of these banks would approve that condo or get it approved. But if you're doing 5% more down conventional, it's easy to get those financing available. Now the flexibility is really gonna be into your renting the units, or if you wanna have a quick sale, or you don't wanna go through the board process like a co-op does. So flexibility of selling it, renting it, and refinancing too as well is pretty easy. So let's get into the co-op side of it. And the co-op side of it, the deed, you own the shares, but not the deed. Property taxes are paid in the common charges. Board approval is required for a co-op. And they're gonna give you an interview. They're gonna look at your financings, has to be fully disclosed, and even personal references too as well, okay? And there are some restrictions. Some co-ops do not allow you to sublet and renovate, or even sell for a certain price. And even decoration, sometimes some co-ops have some restrictions over that too as well. So again, there are restrictions for the co-op. But if you love stabilities and close-knit communities, so if you don't mind the oversight of the co-op, this might be a perfect fit. And for a condo, usually it's for a quick sale and for investors too as well that don't want to get into a high expensive multi-family houses. Now, let's look at the financing. For a co-op, you're usually required to have 10%, anything from 20% and 30%. And you have to have either 3 months to almost 1 year reserve for your payments for the common charges, okay? And that's really critical. So the maintenance fees covers most of all the expenses plus the taxes. And on top of that, you could probably write off a couple of the taxes. Unlike the condo, you could probably write off all your taxes. And there might be a flip tax too, depending on the co-op board. In condos, you actually only have the common charges. You pay your taxes separately and your mortgage separately, obviously, okay? So you're responsible for the taxes. And the building and the management, here's the big difference over here. Always review the financing and reserves for the history of those two buildings, co-op and the condo, especially for the co-ops, because a lot of these buildings are mismanaged and they don't get financing. I actually had a scenario that building could not be financed. It's only cash only. So make sure that you're getting into the financing and you're seeing that they have enough reserves, or they're not gonna have a big assessments that is coming up that needs to be done repairs for. So a poorly managed co-op and condo could actually cost you a little bit more. Here are the restrictions that you need to look for. Look at the board meetings and housing rule before you buy. Co-op has stricter restrictions for noise, pets, as well as renovations and holiday restrictions, okay? Condos usually are lenient, and just check for their rental and restriction and long-term rental as well. If you're planning to rent the unit, condo is probably the best bet. Co-ops has a waiting period, usually about 2 years if they do allow it. And again, the ratio always also depends on tenant to owner ratio. A lot of these banks do not like to have too many tenants compared to the ownership, because that could be in default. And due diligence before signing, have your attorney review the owner offering plan, financings, and meetings, especially with co-op, and any other fees that might arise. Bottom line, check the condos for their flexibility in renting and light board approvals. Usually the condos allow you to just fill out application and they'll get approved. The co-ops for lower purchase price. Now that has been one of the main things where a co-op is in distress. The co-op would not approve that sale. So if you're unsure exactly which one to go for, we do a free consultation, no obligations at all, a free consultation so that way you could understand the difference between a co-op and a condo and you can make the right decisions in your next investments. Your real estate experts, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Have an amazing day. Thank you.